Live now, so I believe everybody should be hearing us loud and clear out there. So just do a sound check on your side there as well, Lisa.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
excellent, perfect. That's good to see the sound bar moving there. So, welcome everybody to episode 38 of the Martin's World podcast. And I'm absolutely honoured to have along with me this evening Lisa Middleton, who joins me to share with me just her experiences as to how cannabis prohibition has had a drastic effect on her life. And also has impeded on our ability to kind of alleviate the conditions there of our terminal illness. So Lisa, welcome along this evening, and again, thanks very much for taking the time out of your evening to join me on the podcast. But if you could just tell me, I suppose, where did this all start for you in your journey with cannabis? Were you always a consumer of cannabis in the past, or?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks for having me on. Firstly, um, I've sort of consumed cannabis for 20 plus years. Um, Younger years, in my younger days, it was more of a recreational, but now as I sort of look back on that, it's helping my mental health. So it was medical, even though, do you know what I mean? But as I got diagnosed with my illnesses a couple of years back, for nearly 5 years ago now, I've noticed that it helps massively with my health conditions. But yeah, I mean, probably about 25 years I've consumed cannabis for.
25 years, okay. And with your health condition then, when about did that develop, or when did that become kind of more apparent to you?
I didn't even know it was caught by chance.
Really?
I got no symptoms whatsoever. Um, as it turns out, I was born with heart disease, but no one knew. I wasn't tested. And it was because I was suffering circulation problems with my hands.
Okay.
Uh, then through that, I was sent for an echocardiogram done as a sort of check it off list. Your
Hmm.
health there, you've got no symptoms, no signs, but we can check it off that it isn't anything wrong with your heart. Went for echocardiogram doing, and I was called back into hospital about 2 days after that. Yeah, sorry, but yeah, there was something wrong with your heart. You got your heart's failing.
And
Wow.
like, what happens from there then? Is there like a treatment for that? Is there like you're on other drugs, I suppose, for that, is there?
Long-term medication, heart medication, but only minimal
Yeah.
because I've got other health conditions that interact with any other medication that I have,
Yeah.
and I'm tolerant as well to a lot of medications. And then any other medications have a bad effect on my other health conditions as well. So I'm on minimal, basically heart med.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Because did they have you on anything like beta blockers or those kind of drugs?
I can't have beta blockers. I'm intolerant. They
You're
have
intolerant, okay.
opposite reaction effects of what they should.
Interesting, yeah, because I was only chatting with a pal the other day, and he was having issues with his heart, but he got prescribed beta blockers as part of his treatment, and he's a regular consumer of cannabis as well. Not a daily consumer, would smoke at the weekends, he says, but he had a smoke one evening after being prescribed these drugs, and he was passing out. But apparently there was an interaction there, and his doctor was aware of the fact that he was consuming cannabis, but I suppose the doctor wasn't aware that there was a drug-to-drug interaction between the cannabis and the beta blockers. So yeah, I was just curious if you were to be prescribed those then as well as you're a consumer of cannabis. So the beta blockers had the opposite intended effect. So
Yeah.
where does the cannabis, what role does that play? Is it to deal with the symptoms of the condition, or is it helping with the condition itself?
I think it helps with a little bit of everything. I
Hmm.
mean, I smoke cannabis rather than taking a capsule, or purely because it gives me more of that umbrella effect, sort of
Hmm.
treat pretty much every single. I need the munchies because I've got dental problems as well.
Yeah,
Because of the late diagnosis of my heart
yeah.
problems, that then had a massive knock-on effect. And I've actually got worst gum disease that you can get, but I've gone straight in at stage 4. I've had no symptoms whatsoever that anything's been wrong because my jawbone's actually deteriorating. So there's nothing wrong with my teeth. I've just got not enough bone to hold my teeth in my face. So I smoke cannabis, but then because of my heart condition, that has a massive impact on your appetite.
Yeah.
Because you've got fluid in your lungs, that then obviously is putting pressure on your other internal organs.
So there's fluid building up in your lungs as well at the same time?
They say it's fluid, but it's actually blood.
No way.
It's the blood that can't, because your heart's lost its pump function and can't pump enough blood out.
Yeah, so it's pooling almost there, like.
Yeah, there's a pooling, and then that obviously backs up, and then that starts to actually fill up into your lungs. That's when they diagnose you as being like heart failure, congestive heart failure, because you can hear fluid in your lungs. But then that has a knock-on effect. Then if the rest of your body isn't getting enough blood, then that has a knock-on effect with other organs of your body. It holds on to, that's why you get fluid retention, and it messes with your appetite.
But that must be scary as well. Like, you know, outside of messing with your appetite, you know, that must play in your mind, which again is going to really just play on your appetite too.
Yeah, it's a vicious circle, because when you first get diagnosed with something like that, it's like, first, how can I be so ill and not even know?
Yeah.
And then when you think, well, your heart is the main organ of your body that basically controls everything, your brain, everything, you think you can just drop dead at any minute until you finally like got comfortable with living with it. It's and then you've got to sort of grieve for stuff that in future, because you've lost your health. It's not easy.
Yeah, I can see where the cannabis would really come in handy there, I suppose. Like not only just the appetite stimulation, but even just to help deal with the anxiety, you know, the worries there, because it really grounds you in the present. Whereas, you know, I'd imagine that they've probably tried to prescribe you with like all sort of antipsychotic type of related drugs, you know, to help with, or they probably would have tried to anyway, at least, to deal with that diagnosis.
No, well, that's another thing. The care after and the actual is that sort of counselling if you want. So there is none of that.
None.
Basically, I walked into the doctor's office for results of an echocardiogram, and within 20 minutes, I'm walking back out being told that I'm seriously ill, and you see you bye.
That's crazy to think. Like I would have assumed that there would have been, okay, and here's a pathway plan for you now. Like there's an aftercare. Go talk to this person, because obviously, you know, when you get a diagnosis like this, it's a lot to take on. So maybe you need somebody to talk to, because not everybody has somebody to talk to at home. Like I think that should be like a first thing a doctor should be sussing out. Like have you got somebody to talk to when you go home? If not, you know, would you need me to refer you to some?
Exactly. No, it's. But then from that initial diagnosis, then I got sent to genetics, because they had to find out why my heart was actually failing, because they didn't know why my heart was failing. So that was another journey that took probably about quite a few good months for them to figure out what the problem were.
Yeah. Jeez. And I suppose for you then, this condition led to you needing to rely more on the cannabis then as to deal with, you know, to help with the appetite and to deal with any anxieties and issues that were there then as well. Because your condition is not limited to your heart then either, is it? It's you've I've also read that you've got I'm just looking at it, there was a couple spondylosis, that was the one. And
spondylosis in my neck, which is a degenerative condition anyway. But when I got diagnosed, I was born with hand differences. So I was born with that. I had an operation done when I was 3 to reconstruct one of my fingers into a thumb. Did that, just cracked on with life like you do. Then as soon as I got diagnosed with my heart problem.
Yeah.
Then they've straight away diagnosed me with Hull Oram syndrome
Oh,
because
Laura, what's that?
there's a connection between heart problems and hand problems.
Okay.
So it's basically a Hull Oram syndrome, but it's also called heart and hand syndrome because apparently 98% of kids that are born with upper limb differences have also got heart defects as well.
Okay, so had they known this at the time, they might have been able to investigate and help you earlier, and maybe had an
Well, what makes it even worse is my mum has got heart problems, so there's a family history of
oh
heart
Christ,
problems.
yeah. Well, I've a family history of heart problems as well. My dad had a heart attack at 39, and his dad passed away from a heart attack. I believe he was in his mid 50s, mid to late 50s, thereabouts. So I've always been heart conscious myself as well. Be keeping the
Yeah,
fitness and the app or the diet and stuff like that in check. But I would always be just a bit conscious about it. But you're not the first person I spoke to actually who's had spondylosis. I had on Jen Devlin. She is also a fibromyalgia sufferer, and she has a form of ankylosing spondylosis. It's another rare form of it, I'd imagine.
yeah,
But again, the cannabis helps her tremendously as well with that condition. And
yeah.
so for you, you were relying on the criminals, I suppose, the guys out there on the streets to supply you with cannabis to a point, and it just got too much. You were running a hairdressers as well. Did that?
I was, yeah, I got my own business. I was self-employed.
Yeah, for
Got
16
my own.
years too, wasn't it?
Pardon?
You were self-employed for like 16 years, is that right?
16 years in total. Yeah, I got my salon for just over 10 years.
Oh wow, well done.
Self worked up from nothing. Loving work.
Yeah.
And just before Christmas, my landlord decided, I want you out. For what reason, I don't know.
Of the where the hairdressers was. Ah
Yeah.
no. And was there anything to do with the COVID and stuff? Did that impact at all, or was
I mean, all this sort of happened. This was 2017 where I
2017?
lost my business, and it was 2018 when I got bust.
Okay. So when you lost your business, then I suppose you would have been having some financial troubles, and you decided to start growing your own cannabis. Then,
Yeah, I mean, I lost my business, so I've lost my income, my me everything.
yeah.
I'd literally got nothing. I'd been made homeless as well prior to this because I've a relationship breakdown. So I'm back at my dad's house, but technically I'm homeless. No income, lost my business, benefits people, lost my paperwork twice. I had no state benefit from
Jeez.
December 2017 until June 2018. For over 6 months, I had no state benefit and what I was entitled to.
What a backward system.
So I've been diagnosed with my heart failure. 3 months later, I lost my business. 2 months after that, I found out I was targeted to a hate page on Facebook that was targeting me and my health conditions. Then the month after that, I got busted with cannabis.
What kind of a horrible person would target you because of your health conditions? Like, what crazy people are out there? Like, that's more horrible than the people who kick in your door and take away your cannabis plants.
Innit?
Yeah, rotten people.
Well, them people that kick in his door and take cannabis plants weren't prepared to do anything about this hate page. Even though
Yeah,
2,000 people have viewed it and commented on it,
yeah.
because no one directly contacted me, they were not prepared to do anything.
Jeez, that is
But months after they're banging my door and arresting me for a plan.
yeah. So how long? Yeah, you were only growing for 8 weeks, so you were just seeing the flowers starting to put flower come into form, yeah.
Well, my charge sheet, I've got it framed in my kitchen actually.
Do you? Very nice.
I think dates on my charge sheet are from 1st of February 2018 to the 26th of April 2018.
Jeez.
Produce of cannabis. There's no intent to supply on there. Literally, produce of cannabis
Just for the
between them.
production.
So yeah, I've got 5 mature plants that were ready for cropping out, rest for babies.
They said 56 plants you were caught with in that raid, was it?
56 in total. 5 were mature and rest were like less than 8 weeks old.
Okay. Yeah, I've had situations like even over the summer there when I was doing a bit of a campaign here in Ireland. I was planting plants out around the place. I found myself in a situation where I had like 50 plants like all around me at one stage driving across the city. I was like, oh yeah, better be careful there.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I wasn't like if I was to be getting pulled over in that the headline would have read, caught with the value of those plants at €800 each here in Ireland. So they would have been putting that value at like, is it 30 or 40,000 euro worth of
We valued on 40 grand because it's
40
similar
grand?
here. CPS value, cannabis plant at 840 quid, I think it is. But then they also value a rooted clone for £840, an unrooted clone at £840, waste leaf material £840. So it doesn't matter what stage your plant is at, whether it's rooted or not, it's still all getting valued at same at 840 quid. They got me down at 40 grand's worth.
40 grand's worth they brought you to. And you didn't,
Yeah.
after it took them 3 years for like from when you got caught to actually get dealt with. Was only in June 2020 you got dealt with?
27 months after I was arrested is when I received my sentence.
That
27 months after.
that's a punishment in and of itself, like having to wait that length of time.
Yeah,
And dealing with your health conditions on top of that, like this added anxiety, this added worry.
exactly. I mean, I was looking at 4 years custodial.
4 years, yeah, you were looking at.
Yeah, I was looking at between 4 and 6 years custodial.
For what, like?
I've done my sentence twice over voluntary. I was released under investigation for 22 months before I got my charge.
They have no competence there at all within this, like not here in our bloody Garda force and not over there in your police force. Like it seems, you've obviously heard of Trev Coleman and what happened to him there in his situation. He's down in, I think it was in Durham. Have you heard of Trev?
I've heard of his name. I don't know details, but I have sort of heard of his name sort of floating about. Yeah,
But the
yeah.
cops apparently down there have like this kind of like this unwritten rule that they're not going to interfere with people who grow cannabis for their own personal reasons.
Now you said that, I do remember. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
he was getting broke into. And he rang the cops thinking that the cops are going to come help him. And the cops came and they were like, hey, you've got cannabis plants here. We're nicking you.
Oh,
Like,
that's
what the
dirty.
hell? Like, it's very bad. Like, they just have no competence. Like, it's like one hand is not talking to the other hand at all. Like, that there's just no proper communication there within them. Like, because even in the UK now, like, and I know it probably wasn't active at the time. I think it would have been in its infancy, but Carly, who's set up the Can card over there, Carly Burton, I think is her surname. But at the time, she had what was said to be, was it Carly's Amnesty? I think that came about
Yeah,
like 2018, 2019, I think that was. Like,
yeah,
we know the cannabis is medicinal and we know people are using it for medicinal reasons, but we're still allowing our state to go and terrorize their citizens. Like who is your victim? Like what's the warrant? Like what warrants them being able to come in and invade like not only your privacy, like but your home,
yeah.
and take away something that's giving you quality of life. Like,
Exactly.
what justifies
Exactly.
that? Where is the justification of it? I just can't see it.
No, I don't. I don't. Especially when it's like you find out that UK government are exporting
Yeah.
and the biggest exporter in the world of cannabis to other countries, but yet denying UK citizens the right to actually use it. But then they're growing it in government-funded facilities.
There we
The
go.
the biggest facility in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and they're growing over. It's a ridiculous amount, and the street value is,
Yeah.
but they're exporting it to other countries, but yet saying it's got no medicinal value. And
Such a
What's the
lie,
logic?
like.
Logic.
It's not lie. It's just a straight up lie. And people still buy it. There's still and not a lot, but there's enough like out there who still question the
Yeah,
legitimacy of cannabis as a medicine. And you're just like, come here,
yeah,
we've got like an unquestionable amount of kids there who are seizure free currently thanks to cannabis. How can you tell me it's not a fucking medicine? Like, oh my God. And then we've got chronic pain patients out there like to beat the band. And they're all like, you know, saying, hey, this helps me. This alleviates my pain. This makes my life better.
yeah. I
And you're,
mean, me personally, without cannabis, I can function as normally as what can.
mm-hmm.
Without cannabis, it allows me to function. Without it, there is just no way I can function because I'm in that much pain with my neck and my shoulders, my back,
Yeah.
everything else with it. Plus, then it's my appetite. It helps with my nausea that I suffer with in the morning because of congestion in my lungs. Obviously, when I get up in the morning,
Have a lot
I'm
of
coughing
can.
a
Yeah.
lot. It can make me feeling very nauseous. So, my split first thing in the morning,
Helps
that's
deal
like
with
me having a
that.
cup of coffee.
Yeah.
That sets me up for the day, really.
Lovely. Yeah. And how much cannabis throughout the day would you be requiring then, just to keep your conditions at bay on average?
It depends. It depends on where I'm sourcing it from.
Mm-hmm.
On every
Ah,
grow is different in it, and
yeah.
when
I hate, yeah, that's an unfortunate thing to hear is like where you're sourcing it from. You would wish that a patient would be able to say, like, well, this much of this strain and I'm able to get it consistently. It just breaks my heart to
yeah.
hear, like this, that you're obviously not getting that consistency.
So I'm still having to chase it and dealing with little boys. Really, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, young thugs.
They want to be gangsters.
Yeah, I know a few of those out there, all right. And
That's it. I'm 45. I shouldn't need to be mixing with these people.
no,
Responsible person. I'm an intelligent person. I'm not a criminal. I should just be able to left it alone, do what I need to do, and grow my own meds without trouble.
yeah, no, you're spot on. There's a lot of people in the audience here as well supports what you're doing, and there's a lot of people coming in, and
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that.
yeah, but because you're not alone in this, like as we say here chatting, I'd imagine there's other people out there in the audience. Now I see Green Tea out there in the audience, and Green Tea is a carer here in Ireland, and her husband. He's after getting respite recently, and I think Green Tea is having a bit of respite time for herself as well, much well deserved. But her husband has late stage MS. It's really debilitating, and like the caring she does for him, it requires up to like 3 or 4 people to do it, and she does it alone.
Yeah,
Mainly because of the fact she grows cannabis for him. She grows cannabis where she cares for him. She can't have in extra people to help out as she would be
yeah.
entitled to. And it like this.
You have to be so guarded, don't you?
Mm,
Everyday life, when stuff like that comes up, and nobody knows when stuff's going to come up like that in your life,
no,
you have to sort of then segregate yourself from society to protect yourself.
yeah. And that in turn is damaging to a person's psyche, to your mental health. It's like who can you let your barrier down to? You find yourself like trusting nobody, and it's like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
so
and it's
alone.
so wrong that we're forced into having to do that.
Hmm.
Fear, basically, isn't it?
Yeah,
And it's just so wrong. Things need changing. They really do.
yeah. Can I ask at the time when the raid happened and stuff, like how were the police and their attitude towards you and in carrying out the raid? Were they respectable towards your home and your property then at all?
Well, that's quite funny because the amount of police that turned up were ridiculous. You
Do
would have
tell
lived
us.
with terrorists. Some sort of terrorist had been living there. I was waiting for army rolling up. There were about 8 police cars outside. Police lined up, all the way from top of the stairs, all the way downstairs, through the kitchen, through round back,
Holy
downside the
crap.
house, down the drive to the gateway, bottom of the drive. There were police lined up all that way.
That is absolutely yes,
They're like,
crazy.
who the hell did they think they were coming to bust?
Yeah,
I mean, wait through.
yeah.
Like, but the first person's face that I saw, first person policeman, were a kid I went to school with.
Really? Okay. So that and did he obviously knew where he was going? I think he would have given no text or something like, "Hey Lisa, I can't get rid of the
No,
fence."
because I was homeless because everything I'd lost everything. I'd lost me sort of home prior to
Yeah.
this, but I kept business going. I put everything into my business and working
Yeah.
sort of thing. Um,
So
so he'd have just come to this address not knowing
yeah.
who it were.
Was this your
And
parents' house then? So was it?
no, it were at my friend's house. I
Ah.
ended up from my dad's. I ended up staying up at my friend's house because I was getting more trouble at my dad's sort of thing.
Hmm.
So I went up to my friends.
Yeah.
They'd grown it in past.
Hmm.
They'd not grown for about 8 years, but they'd grown it in past. They knew that I was struggling to source it and financially be able to buy it anyway because I got no money.
Yeah.
And they were like,
Pop up a tent.
if you want.
Yeah. Sound of them. Fair play to them. Like whoever they are out there. Like well done.
And I did. And then, rest history, as you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah, and how do you think that that came about? Because I read you like you don't have a criminal history, you've not been in trouble with the law, and like you're in your forties, like to get to your forties and not get in trouble with the law, like that's an achievement to do, like. So,
Sorry, what did
oh
what were
yeah,
question?
how do you think the raid came about? You know, what made them target your friends?
Grass. I think it was my ex because a month before I was busted, I found out about this hate page that was set up by my ex stepdaughter
Hmm.
after years of being separated from my dad and having no contact with these people. I just don't even know why someone would want to do that. And I think because she got a bit of backlash from that, she was actually an NHS children's nurse when she
Okay.
did this page. And so I've obviously got in touch with hospital and said, do you think this is right, one of your staff to be making this page up?
Hmm.
A name was there, a picture, there were no denying it, we read what she wrote.
Yeah.
So I think me doing that and her getting reprimanded then at work, she wanted to pay back because it didn't exactly work out as what she wanted it to work out when she started the hate page.
So this is kind of like almost another example is that the white prohibition shouldn't be around because people will just use this as a way to get back at somebody. It's like if you know somebody is a cannabis consumer, you know, it's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to just tell the cops there that they have a load of weed in their gaff, and before you know it, you got the SWAT team kicking in your fucking door, like.
They know I smoked it, they know we're consuming it.
Yeah.
So I've in her mind, she'll have thought, yeah, I'll grass her up. Worst at worst, they're going to get away possession. They're going to get away with something, they'll get away with possession. Because nobody knew that I were growing. I take it quiet, nobody knew.
Yeah. So they kept thought they were coming in for a couple of bags, maybe a couple of ounces or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, it's unfortunate.
But yeah,
The court case then it was rather drawn out. How did that go? How many times did you even have to go to court for this?
uh, it's been a complete joke from start to finish. I'm not even
Really?
finished it yet.
Because you're only on bail still on it, isn't it? Or on
I'm on my probation. I finished my
probation?
probation in
Probation.
January.
Yeah.
I
Will you
went
get in
to
trouble for this now
magistrate.
tonight? No.
It took me 4.5 years to do an 18-month suspended.
Oh, stop. As far as you're concerned, you're well done. So.
I went to magistrates February. It was St. Paddy's Day, actually. I was in magistrates.
Mhm.
My first appearance in court, where I refused to enter a plea. I was not pleading guilty in magistrates because I knew it was going to have to go to Crown. So my solicitor were trying to push me and trying to scare me into not pleading guilty. And I'm like, Simon, there is just no way on this earth I can plead guilty. No way. I am not pleading guilty. I'm pleading no plea. So I plead no plea in magistrates. It has to get transferred to Crown anyway because I'm out of plans.
Because of the value, yeah.
Yeah, as I'm waiting for the date coming through for Crown, then it's getting sort of into lockdown where the government are we going to lock down? Aren't we going to lock down? So I ended up going to Crown to enter my plea. I entered guilty in Crown. Purely for the fact is I was scared to death going to prison.
You were terrified, yeah. So you were
Yeah,
terrorized effectively.
basically, and the length of time that it had gone off. I mean, the time where I was actually in court giving my plea. This is like nearly 3 years after the event. So my life's completely changed in 3 years. I'm in my own place. I've got my own place. I'm sorted. Life's looking up, and I could not risk even losing all that after I've only just got it all back.
Yeah.
I'm in a completely different place altogether. But I went in to enter my plea in Crown. And then I think it was the day after we went in lockdown.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So everything got delayed for another 3 months because it was lockdown.
Oh, so when you went entered your plea, they still, that wasn't it. Like you'd come back then for them to kind of accept it.
Yeah, so then I had to wait another 3 months for courts to open up again and everything after restrictions to go back and get for my sentencing.
Do you think it's just like given the pandemic, the light of everything's going on, it's just like, come here, look, you grew with a few plants there going away. Look, we forget about this.
I ended up having got a sentencing twice.
Oh, stop.
Who has to go to sentencing twice?
That is absolutely crazy, like. And throughout,
Well,
oh, go on,
they
sorry.
wouldn't accept my reasons of plea. So I had to add a bit extra into my plea and then go back 2 weeks after for them to accept it and then sentence me.
What do you mean they wouldn't accept your reasons for plea if you're pleading guilty?
Yeah. They want it because they know that I weren't that I weren't being sincere.
How can you fucking be sincere? Like, or like, how can you actually give them like if they wanted an apology? Like, you're not going to be sorry about this.
They took my phone and I had text one person and told this person that I could trust with my life what I was doing, and they completely understand it. Plus, I knew this person didn't know the address where I was staying, so I knew that I'd cover my back and safe. But they got this one text of me saying, "I know I'm breaking law, and I know it's illegal, but I don't care."
Yeah, it's legally healed.
That's why they won't accept my reasons of plea. So I had to add in, I know you've got a text in evidence saying that I didn't care, but 2 years ago, well, nearly 3 years ago, I didn't care because going to prison would have been a better reality of what I was actually having to live in and deal with at the time. But 2 years ago is a long time ago, and now my life is completely different, and I'm in a completely different situation.
Yeah.
Complete joke. I think you're taking mick now, seriously.
And what did I do? It was an 18 months suspended, so you're on probation for the 18 months.
Yeah. With 60 raw days, which is a rehabilitation activity requirement.
What's that like?
It's basically a women's group where you have to sit with this woman who runs group talking about rubbish that's not relevant to anything.
And who pays for this?
Exactly. We did actually do a few interesting sessions that I got my teeth right into about. We did do some sessions about criminal justice system and costs of what it costs to send someone on a custodial for 12 months in a thing to somebody doing a community or a suspended sentence for 12 months and percentages of people in prisons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting, but I always got booted when it came to government.
Yeah, it's you've got some emotions there that you'd like to express around the government.
Yeah. But I was really naive when, I think, because it's been going on for so long, and when it finally got to sentencing, I'm thinking, yes, finally, it's finished, finally. But I was so wrong because it's only just started. I never even thought about after, because I really thought I was going to prison. So I'd prepared myself mentally for that.
Mm-hmm.
I never even thought about what happens if I don't go to prison and all the stipulations and hoops you've got to jump through to prove you're a good person and a good member of society.
As if you're a bad person for growing a plant to help with your own health conditions. It's what a backwards way of thinking. Like, it's how does this still exist today with what we know about this plant? Like, it's my mind is really boggled around this whole aspect. Like
Really affected me really badly.
yeah.
I still now can't even talk about it without crying. It's really had that.
Yeah. No, I can definitely sympathize with you there and feel with you because I still would get emotional myself with what I had to go through.
I were having to participate in a group where all the other women in the group had just come out of prison after doing substantial sentences, not for growing a plant, for proper crimes.
Yeah.
And I found that I'm lumped into a group with people like that that do need rehabilitating into the community. I'm sorry, but no, I find that very insulting.
Yeah. No, that is, and it's just it's incredibly degrading as well, because your crime is not a crime. Like you didn't need rehabilitation. Like you didn't need to talk about anything. Like if anything, you needed that fucking group after you got your diagnosis from your doctor. Like they didn't have that service there for you when you get that diagnosis. But meanwhile, you get caught growing a fucking couple of plants, and they can provide it for you then all of a sudden.
Exactly. I mean, the first Zoom group, because it was done on Zoom and that, and we've got all the faces of whoever's in there, like who's like in the group. And I think it lasted probably 10 minutes the first day.
Really, yeah.
And I had a complete meltdown.
Okay.
I was still having my weekly probation phone calls then. I couldn't even talk to her. I think phone calls when she phoned me, she's like, how are you this week? I'm like, she went, right, I can tell that you're not all right, I'll phone you next week. She didn't even speak to me for the first 4 weeks because I couldn't physically speak.
Yeah. So like this prohibition really just messed up your mental health for that time. Like, how long did that kind of go on for? Like, at what point did things just start turning?
It's still happening now, obviously, because it has really.
Yeah.
I think the only good thing that the criminal justice system did, because I know I needed to speak to somebody, I needed some help.
Yeah.
Because of lockdown, everything, mental health places, counselling places, they were all closed. Mind were closed. The waiting lists were closed. Mentioned it to my probation, and luckily, because now I'm in the system, Mind hold so many places open for people that are in the criminal justice system. So my probation officer referred me for my initial thing with my counsellor at Mind, and I think I started my counselling the week after.
Okay, so
I got my whole sessions with my Mind counsellor every week, the whole shebang, starting pretty much straight away. There were no waiting, and I can easily say that without that, I wouldn't have got.
Yeah, you wouldn't have got through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can see how the struggles would rise there. Jesus, I'm fucking going mad. We're not in the same room now because I kind of want to just reach out and give you a big hug because that's an absolutely horrible thing to have to go through. Like, and it's just really like this is just more fuel for me to continue to challenge these laws because you're not alone in this. Like while you're here speaking out, there's probably another 99 people out there ashamed to speak out. That they're shamed of what they've done almost. That they're broken by the system. And that's what they set out to do.
When I first got busted and arrested. When I came home that day, back where the mess the police had made was disgusting.
Really, yeah.
They'd broken the bulbs, there were broken glass all over, soil was stored purposely into the carpet, tent had been ripped up, everything being ripped off wall, all extraction, everything just ripped down, dangling from ceiling. It looked like I'd been burgled.
Jeez, that's horrible. Like that's a very similar situation that a friend of mine experienced here in Cork. He was grown for his own medical reasons, mental health problems, and the cops came. It wasn't even the cops. He was out at mass one morning, if you believe this, and he had a faulty fire alarm in his apartment building, And the fire
Yeah.
brigade came and they had to kick in his door because he wasn't there, and they had to make sure that the place was safe, even though it wasn't even his fire alarm going off anyway. Long story short, the fire brigade found the plants that they called the guards. The guards came in. The guards took his plants, but they didn't just take his plants. They ransacked his whole house. They emptied a bag of flour all over his kitchen floor, like going through that. They emptied like loads of stuff all over the place. And like you said, they cut up the tent. They bent all the bars of the tent.
Yeah.
They didn't take
Yeah.
the soil, as you said. No, they actually stood on the pots, so they broke the pots with the soil still in them. So
That is like what they did to that. With mine, it's like they just ticked
yeah,
because it's like,
they must get trained the same way to do it.
but it's like
Scummy.
when I got arrested, I was locked up. I put in cell for 6 hours. Then they interviewed me, took me home. The day after, one of my arresting officers came back to see if I was all right.
Okay.
When did they ever do that?
Yeah. Well, at
And
least that
then
person's.
a couple of days later, well, it's that shame straight away. It's like, my God. It's like you've been catapulted into this different world completely altogether when you've not had no dealings with police, never been in trouble, never even been in a police station in your life before.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, you're in a cell, locked up. But and it's like, what the hell's just happened to my life? Then a girl that lived up the road came down at probably 2 days after. I'd been in press. I'd been in press, 2 stories in the press while I was still in custody.
Oh, really? Yeah, they put out the stories without your knowledge at all. So
While I was still in custody. So I felt like dead man walking.
yeah.
Literally, it felt like from having my own business in like the hub of community where people used to call in just to have a cuppa and a chat, to then all of a sudden being slammed in paper, growing cannabis, arrested, £40,000 worth of drugs, to then basically being shunned in community. I felt like dead man walking.
Jeez.
And it's literally one of them where it's like, right, I've got to either take complete ownership of this shit now,
Yeah.
or it is just going to do me in, and that is going to be game over, done.
Jeez, like I can't imagine what that must have been like to have to go through that all at the same time as dealing with your own health condition. And on top of that, like, did you ever reach out then for help from any of the political parties or any of the politicians within even your own local area? Did any of them come to give you assistance there?
I haven't sort of thing with the cannabis with my MPs. One of my MPs were really good actually with my benefits when I needed to get my benefits sorted.
Okay.
She was really good on that sort of thing. But with all this, I think after all arrest and being busted and coming out, it takes you a bit of time to actually process that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was paralysed until I'd actually processed it in my mind what the hell had actually happened and what the hell's going to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just all been a whirlwind where I've not really even, like, oh dear. So is that official people, like any politicians and that, oh dear, approach that are cannabis friendly.
Yeah, that's it. Like there's not that many, it really is there. But I think like you've just got such a
Only person is like through community, and it was a hope, was Outlaw, but that's gone down shit and ass, pardon my French.
yeah.
But
Well, given your situation, you think you would be a prime candidate there for Outlaws to be coming and given some assistance too?
well, I should have hoped that he would. I would pray that he would, but he's obviously pushed me under boss.
Fuck's sake, like. Well, I hope somebody gets this to him out there, like, because there's a lot of people out there in the community relying on him.
I promised me through DMs. He actually private messaged me.
Yeah.
I forgot about you. I've got you back. I'm pushing your case now.
Yeah.
Months ago. Have I heard out from him? Have I? Hey.
Jeez, like, it's like,
To be honest, I think the bloke's full of shit.
I don't think you're alone in that. I've seen this being expressed in a couple of different forums and on a few different shows
And
there as well recently.
and I have got my face with my cannabis grow
Yeah.
there online. I don't care who sees my face. I don't need to hide from nobody.
Hmm.
I think it's about time he took that balaclava off or actually started doing what he should be doing, what he's promising people, because he's doing jack shit at minute.
Yeah.
Sorry, apart from blowing smoke up his own arse.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you there. I think
Sorry,
he's not.
I get really, really passionate about it because he's let me down big time,
Yeah.
big time.
No, but you're so right to getting passionate about this, like because you've a lot riding on this, and there's people out there then they're playing almost playing a game like this, creating this brand for themselves, this brand image, and it's just like where's the follow through on this? You've got all this attention now. What are you doing with it? Like you won't even take off your own mask. Like shine that light back on people like yourself or the other campaigners out there, and let them get on with it.
When it grows, these people wouldn't be at whatever status they think they're at.
Hmm. Yeah, and has there been people within the community to give you assistance and help you out throughout the whole lot of this?
Phil Monk from We the Unsigned.
We the undersigned,
Phil
yeah.
Monk being an absolute fantastic support.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends on Twitter as well in cannabis community have, because they sort of was there at the beginning, the journey all the way through. I mean, some of these people on Twitter, they even did character references for me and sent it to George. People in America and Canada that I've known for years and spoke to regular basis, and they even went out of the way. People that I've not even, they didn't have to do that. So I have had lots of support from different people, but obviously support from people that you should probably maybe expect or think would be there at forefront.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's very disheartening to hear. Like it's great to hear that that the likes of Phil Monk and stuff like that is out there. But the Outlaws, it's like again he's taken away attention from the likes of the Phil Monks and stuff like that and the Weedy Undersigned. I seen recently that they were supposed to be like getting into some sort of an agreement or some sort of a coalition going on there between them, but that was like a number of months ago. It's kind of much like your email from Outlaw at the time. It's there was a promise there, and it's like there's crickets then afterwards. It's nothing going on.
I mean, but it's like it's difficult to explain because to me, nobody should be serving any sentence for cannabis. It doesn't matter whether it's a custodial sentence or a suspended sentence. Any sentence, you should not be doing it. People, I know some people are thinking, and some people have said to me, oh, you want to think yourself lucky that you've not been to jail. Really? Do I want to think myself lucky? 4.5 years these bastards have had in my life. Do I really want to think myself lucky I've not been in jail? I've been living in my own personal jail for 4.5 years, mate.
Yep, this is
no prison.
Yeah, this is the shit I talk about as well on the podcast when I cover the news stories there, and it's just like, oh, somebody's lucky because they get a suspended sentence. So it's like you don't know that fucking hell that person's after been living the last year and a half while they're waiting for this case to come up.
Unless you've been through the system, you cannot have any understanding whatsoever until you've done that journey and you've been through the system. You've stood behind that glass screen just for cannabis. No one can understand, so no one can even have the right to say, oh, you think yourself like you. Have you been in that position I'm in? No, you've not, so I'm sorry, but your opinion don't count.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
Because your total mindset changes, the way you view the world, the way you view other people, and everything.
Yeah, well, some people don't survive it, they lose themselves to it.
And it changes forever because it never goes back. My life ain't never going to go back to what it were. Because I'm always going to have a criminal record.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, well hopefully any legislation change that comes, it will include a pathway for expungement, like immediate expungement. So I would see it to be there. But I suppose, like, given everything you've been through, like, is that even enough? Like, it's like if the government turn around and say, look, we're going to give you an expungement, but it's just like, is that enough? Like, you'd almost like want some sort of a written apology there from the Queen, from yourself, and I would like one from our president here, like, to kind of say, hey, we're sorry for criminalising you there, like, accept our apology. I consider it then, like, all right, so that's enough.
Yeah, yeah, I'd take it as a part apology. It'd be nice for a little bit of acknowledgement that they have
Yeah,
screwed you up. That would be nice.
yeah,
But are they ever going to do that?
no,
I
but
don't
that,
believe any government says, to be fair.
yeah, but
I
that's
don't
the
think it's going to be legalised until we've got a whole new parliament, a whole different generation, our generation of people in parliament.
yeah.
That's when things are going to change.
Yeah. Well, people like yourself, the bold approach you're making, like, I'm in awe of your social media and stuff like that. It's some great content you're putting out there. I really love it. It's
Really appreciate that feedback and positivity, and it's stuff like that that gives me drive to keep going.
Yeah, no, you do great part for the cause online there, and just the civil disobedience that's at the core, the spirit of it is just like, yeah, look, I'm breaking the law here, and I don't care, like, and I just love that approach that you're taking. So
I won't refuse to hide.
yeah,
I've been messed about and screwed about with that much. I've literally just got past the point of caring,
yeah, no, you're
and that time when things are going to change, is when people get to that point and
mhm,
just start doing it.
yeah,
I mean, South Yorkshire Police have blocked me on Twitter
they're afraid, yeah,
because after I got arrested, I was doing a plan just for the sake. I'm doing it, and I don't care whether you like it or not. But I'm gonna be upfront. I'm gonna tell you that I'm growing. So I continued tweeting them, saying, "Can I expect you coming back to arrest me? I've got one on. I'm growing one plan. I've got one plan." So instead of having to deal with it, they just blocked me instead.
just pretend it's not going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would create a lot of problems from really, like, if they were to try to criminalize you, like, would they really get away with it? Like, I know anyway, like, knowing you and after following you now, if I was to notice, like, that, hey, Lisa's not posting, and if I was to find out you're in prison, I would, like, definitely be getting on a boat and going over there and maybe staging a bit of a protest outside and saying, hey, come here, let this lady out, like, this is bullshit.
But yeah, I mean, even I know, I mean, I was still on my probation,
Mm-hmm.
still serving my sentence, but serious, I've just got past point of actually caring.
Yeah, yeah,
It's two, I've got two on. I've been diet, and it's not just about growing plants, it's about mental health again.
yeah,
It's giving me something to focus on,
yeah.
and productivity, and actually doing something that I know I'm going to benefit from, that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not having to rely on a little gangster wannabe boy
Yeah.
and then having to go around chasing it for a shit weed.
Yeah. But would you be like myself? Would you find it to be kind of freeing to be out there like this now and to be kind of like, well, and almost,
Very, very liberating.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because me, I kind of almost accept it. It's like, right, I'm going to be out there and I'm going to accept the fact that the cops are going to target me. And actually, in fact, they've not targeted. Yeah, they're
Well, I
watching
know
me, but they're not actually kicking in my door. They're not coming and raiding me or anything like that. And like, I've
I'd have
cannabis
to be
hair right
very
now.
naive to think that they're not watching me. I'd have to be very naive to think that I'm not.
Yeah.
Uh, and I highly suspect that they are, because prosecution actually put in their evidence some stuff from Twitter, but this is way past the event
Yeah.
of what they're putting in. It were all admissible evidence anyway.
How sad
But
is it that there was a cop actually paid to go through your Twitter? How
yeah,
sad is
I know they're
that?
going to be watching me Instagram and me Twitter and stuff. I know for a fact they're going to be
Oh.
watching my progress with plants. I know for a fact they know I've only got two on,
Mhm.
but they're going to know that if I do push it to the limit and go, they'll be here at my door asking questions. I know that, but I'm not daft.
Yeah, yeah. We should come up with some form of like what's that thing, like if a person doesn't checking like at a certain time, we know that person's missing then, we should come up with one
I
of those for you so we can make sure that Lisa's safe. Like, you have to check in every 48 hours, and if we don't get a check in, we're going protesting.
Yeah, no, I know that they won't. I just know they won't.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. That's good, and I hope they don't.
I think, well, when they got me to the station at custody suite, when it all first happened, they obviously have to ask you, have you got any health conditions? And so, yeah, in the face, just said it all.
Oh, lovely. I'm just going to pop up
Yeah.
your Instagram there for people to see it up on screen, just so people can find you as well, because everybody should go over there and give Lisa a follow. And you're on Twitter as well by the same name, is it?
Twitter's just Lisa 19576.
Perfect. That's in your description here on Instagram actually as well.
Yeah, because this is my third Instagram account because they've wiped me out twice.
Lovely. And you've been having some trouble over on TikTok as well.
Yeah, they keep wiping me out on TikTok. Yeah.
Yes, well, I hope people have taken down your name there anyway, and they go over and give you a follow on those platforms and stay up to date in your content, because I really do love it. I love your approach, and I just love your boldness, and you deserve all the support that you can get, and I hope they continue to I hope they can please continue to leave you alone.
I'm confident in saying, yeah, I think they will.
Excellent. Oh, that's good to hear. And what is it you're growing at the moment?
Pardon?
What is it you're growing at the moment? What's the strains?
White Runs.
White Runs. Oh, very nice. Yes, I've had the pleasure of tasting that in Amsterdam, actually.
Yeah, a very, very kind person, actually, from Instagram, gifted me some babies.
Ah, lovely. So you got a head start.
Massive thanks to this donator to actually let me be able to get on and do what I want.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
I can't thank them enough.
And your experience, I suppose, have you had much experience with just growing plants in general before all, or is it just your 8 weeks before?
I've always loved gardening, loved gardening. When I had my own garden in my house, I did my own garden, everything. I was always out in garden, so I've always enjoyed it, yeah.
That's the job.
Very hands-on.
Yeah, there's a forum you should check out online. It's called percysgrowroom.com, and there's have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Check it out. You should. There's a great community over there, and again, there's another podcast associated with that as well, and I'm sure you'd enjoy the crack and joining in as well.
Well, when I did them two grows after I'd been bossed, basically some guy sent me some CBD cannabis as a tester fruit via Twitter, and they were seeding it. So I thought, right, well, it's a gift from God. I'll just see what it is, just put it in to see what happens. And as it turned out, it was female. So then I cloned her, sent 2 clones 250 miles away to Devon to my friend via Royal Mail first class recorded delivery. They got there next day in perfect condition.
Excellent.
So she drove them to one and harvested them. I get 2 to a bloke down the road, and I kept 1, and I grew second one on. Oh, so lovely. Yeah, this is only my 3rd one.
Oh, fair play though. Like, yeah, it's a great experience. I've had a bit of growing experience before, and definitely don't regret it anyway. I've really enjoyed growing cannabis. It's such a rewarding plant to grow.
It fascinates me, and learning about the actual plant itself. It's good for good for soul.
yeah, no, it is definitely. Gardening is incredibly therapeutic. Like, lovely. Yeah. So what's next for yourself? So when does your probation actually finish?
I finish my sentence on the 14th of January 2022.
Okay, so not very long at all. So
no, after 4.5. 4.5. Yeah.
I know, yeah. And what happens then on that date? Did you have to go to court, or is it just you get a letter and you're done?
Well, I've got to go back to court anyway. Okay. Because also on my sentence, which has made me question my sentence completely, I got my 18 months suspended, my 60 raw days, 100 hours unpaid work. I can't do the unpaid work. Because I'm claiming state benefits because I can't work.
Yeah, they'll cut you off.
They can't work. They can't make me do the unpaid work, which has made me question the amount of knowledge the judge had about pre-sentencing report and mitigating circumstances before he actually passed the sentence, because that shouldn't even be on it.
Yeah, those judges will be probably half cutting whiskey when they're up there making their decisions anyway, you know.
I know, I know.
Yeah, they're their own drugs of their choice, and they look down on us then for ours, you know, despite
Yeah.
what benefit it actually brings us.
So I've got to go back to Crown Court to have my unpaid work struck off my order. I finished my order in 2 months.
Stop, like that's so annoying, like, and
Sentence.
yeah, and but had you been still working, you know, you'd have to show up in court. You know, that's another day off that you have to take. Like that, do they take that into consideration with your unpaid bloody work?
I know. Well, what, 3 weeks ago, probation sent me to wrong court.
They sent you to the wrong court.
Yes.
These guys, like, they just literally there's no level of that they're not willing to kind of sing to.
No, not a clue. No.
Ah, sausages.
She's not even coming with me when I go back to Crown to have this took off.
Hmm.
She didn't even come with me because she knows I'm going to open my mouth.
No, just get her in, get her over and done with, and
Yeah, she don't want to do
keep your
it.
head held high. Feck 'em. You did nothing wrong, like
I,
how do they
it's
justify what they've done to you? Like I just can't understand it at all. Like.
madness.
How they
Absolutely.
justify the expenditure there? You know, that this room of people, you know, you're sitting around, like even on the Zoom call there, like somebody had to pay for that Zoom. Like, you know, it's just like, what in it?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I asked my solicitor if there were any chance we could get costs from the police that day on how much it cost to actually bust me.
Yeah,
The amount of officers that were it were ridiculous for a woman, but the amount of police that were there weren't needed,
yeah.
was not needed.
Well, you're
So
talking
I'm asking the solicitor if he can get costs to using my defence again. I've like wasted funds. No, I don't think that'll do you any favours, Lisa.
yeah. They don't like to be pointed out the errors in their ways. Like, you know,
Yeah,
what they're
yeah,
doing is great. They're doing a good job. Like they're protecting us from these evil drug users out there, like in society, who are so dangerous.
I know, I know.
So if they had like eight cars, eight vehicles, you said, so you'd like easy 16 cops showing up at your place, like easy. So you're talking two cops per car, 16 cops. So I'd
I
imagine,
think they'd got cars loaded up because there were more than 16 officers.
yeah,
I'd double it easy.
yeah. So say let's say you're even talking about 20. Like, what is a cop over there? Like they're on about £200 a day, maybe. Like would they be after £100?
I have not got a
Yeah,
club.
but even if they're on £100, like that's still 2 grand of taxpayers' money. The vehicles there, the fuel there. It's like, geez, this all adds up over time. Like, and how many times a day are they doing this across the country?
Then they brought forensics in, obviously. Then they brought drug dogs people in. Then my dog bit one of the coppers.
Jeez, I really hope you don't ever have to go through any of that shit again. Like, and let me know if they ever do come at you again, because I do think that we all need to be uniting now. That if one of us goes down, like, you know, we all stand up, like, 'cause
Definitely.
that's the only way we're
Yeah.
going to get change. Like, you know, like I think, and again, you know, and I hate to go back to it, I don't wanna be causing division in our community and stuff, like, but I think that the people like Outlaw have got a great. He's got a great opportunity, but he's taken away the unity in the community that's needed. You know, he's almost leading people on that, like, look, I'm going to do everything for you guys. You don't need to do anything. You know, get in touch with my prone prosecution service or whatever he's got there. Buy my book, and that's how you're going to learn.
It's giving people false hope.
Yeah. But it's taken away to what's actually naturally happening, which is people like yourself, the Phil Monks, the Trev Colemans, we're all uniting, we're standing up, we're not hiding
Yeah,
behind masks and false names and stuff. We're out there in public, and, like, you know, if there's people like Outlaw out there saying, hey guys, don't do this, you know what I mean? Just sit back, like, don't put your face out there. You know, that he's not saying that explicitly, but he's saying, I got this, guys, and
yeah.
that's just empowering for the rest of the community. So I hope he just starts stepping up and uniting the community now. And
So do I. I mean, I literally had this man on a pedestal,
hmm,
and there's not that many people that inspire me, to be
yeah,
fair. And with what I saw what you were doing within the community and how ballsy, if you like,
yeah,
it was with the government and stuff, thinking, yeah, I'm on this guy's level. I can do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And then when you think, well, actually, no, you're just showboating
hmm,
to please the crowds. and you're more bothered about your numbers rather than actually helping what you're promising to deliver. It makes you question people's integrity, doesn't it?
Oh, big time, like big time. Like even just looking at his
What is their
Instagram.
actual goal and what is their focus? Whether it's a popularity contest they're after, or whether it's actually helping people what they say they're going to help. I mean, where's
Hmm.
measuring scales in that?
Yeah.
I feel really, really let down. I've been let down enough as it is with system, and then with all that's just sort of put cherry on top. And it's like, well, who the hell is? There ain't nobody but me that can. Do you know what I mean? So I've got to get my face out there. I've got to get it out there and do it myself, because there ain't nobody else that is going to be supporting me
Hmm.
and doing it
Yeah.
or got your back.
Yeah. No, but there is a growing campaign out there on cannabis, and from many different aspects. Like they got the environmental crowd coming in. You know, they're looking at the green aspects of cannabis. You've got the medical side, which includes yourself, but you've also got the Karen Gray, who's out there, and all of the other parents as well who are fighting for access for their kids.
Definitely.
And
We're like linking everyone together in it sort of thing, and everyone sort of just making that mass stand, isn't it?
yeah, but the primary source of all of the group's issues is the prohibition of cannabis. If the
Yeah.
prohibition of cannabis didn't exist, the farmers would be able to grow and produce all of these green, environmentally friendly products. The patients would be able to get access through their health professionals. And
Yeah.
the likes of myself, then, I'd be able to go down and just get cannabis safely and not support any fucking mass thugs out there, gangsters.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's like we're not intelligent people because we're not.
Yeah.
I think like we probably know more about politics and government than what Joe Blogs down the street knows. It's things need to be changing
On
quickly.
in a major way, definitely. Lisa, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and I really do hope people to get over there and give you a follow. And I hope your followers, trump that of Outlaw, because I believe people like yourself would do so much more good for this cause than he is with the attention that he's getting currently. Like, so I really do hope that people like yourself, that the Phil Monks, the Trev Colemans out there, I hope they start getting the acknowledgement and the attention that they deserve, because
Yeah,
they're really the ones making the moves and the waves. Like, they're not
yeah,
making any false promises there for people, like, so
yeah,
I hope that there's a growing in numbers there for all of those mentioned people, and yourself as well included.
yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem
Yeah.
at all, Lisa. And thanks for
Thank
joining me as well.
you, Dawn. I've loved it. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed the conversation as well. Honestly, it's been great, and I'm sure there's many people out there as well. But before I let you go, I might flick on over to. I see lots of comments out there coming through. So I'll just see if there's any specific questions in there that anybody has, and I might give people just a shout out if they would like to get a question in, or if they'd like to just get a message there for Lisa before she goes. Get them into the comments there now. I see lots of people out there. The guys from High and Homegrown were actually watching as well, and yeah, there's a lot of skepticism in their show as well, from some of their listeners around Outlaw, as
Right.
they were hoping to have him on for an.
Much more widespread than what I actually thought, because I was thinking it were only me, to be fair. But yeah,
No,
that's interesting.
no, they were hoping to have him on as well, and they've covered some of his actions there, and I think over time, some of their viewers are kind of like, oh, this guy again, like what another date.
Ah,
Yeah, but yeah, I see some of the other commenters out there as well are definitely sympathising with your situation. John Finnegan out there saying what a horrible situation. Yeah, and Billy Bond says, yeah, he cried also. Oh no, this is because Outlaw said he was a naughty boy. He got a bit of a scolding. He questioned Outlaw on his Facebook page there recently, and he got a bit of a scolding from him.
Oh yeah, I'm getting the feeling that he doesn't like any um, subjective criticism, shall we say?
Yeah, yeah, he does definitely. Yeah, and some of the commenters are saying there that they had no idea so many people were skeptical. Yeah. Because I think nobody wanted to create division in the community, really. Like, nobody wanted to question the guy. I suppose we all did want to have this
Yeah,
optimism that what he was saying was true, because
yeah.
there was a lot of good in it.
It, it takes a hell of a lot for me to actually sort of not name and shame, but name and shame, if you like. It takes a hell of a lot of that is so going against my grain to do that.
Hmm.
But I've given this guy chance after chance after chance after chance after chance until finally, no, I'm sorry, babe, no,
Yeah.
rubbing my face in it now.
Hmm.
Seriously.
And
But
can I ask you, at what point did you actually decide to, just lift the veil there for yourself, and just to be out so public?
as soon as I found out I'd been in the press while I was still in custody,
Okay.
there was no point in hiding.
Yeah.
I'd been out there in press, everybody knew. I walked into a supermarket for the first time, local supermarket, and so everyone stopped what they were doing, turned around and stared at me.
No
There
way.
was no point in hiding. There's never been no point. They took that liberty away straight away, please. I've never had no anonymity ever. Everything's been out there from day one, and that has been took out of my control.
Yeah.
So I've
So
got to warn it.
they pulled the rug from under your feet, but unfortunately for them, you landed on your feet, and yeah, you're standing up fighting now.
I sort of thought after a couple of days and thought I've got to take ownership back. That's when I actually contacted the paper that had printed these two stories and said, look, if you want to know the truth, I'll tell you the truth. I've got nothing to hide. So then I got myself on front of paper about 5 weeks after, saying I will continue to grow cannabis.
Fair play, like, honestly, fair play. That definitely takes, like, some. It's not an easy thing to do, you know. I know you're out there already in the media, like, but fair play, like, and I'm so glad that you did, like, I'm so glad that I got to meet you, and to chat with you as well, because you're a hell of a woman.
Thank you, and thanks ever so much for tonight. I've loved chatting to you, and thanks to all your viewers, everyone that's viewed, commented, supporting me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, not a bother at all. Yeah, I see. Who's that? Hunter K is another big supporter out there. He's Hunter K goes walking here every day in Ireland, for another patient here in Ireland, Alicia Maher. Alicia had to leave Ireland. She's in Alicante now at the moment. She suffers with chronic pain. But we started a walking campaign, to bring Alicia home. So we were just walking, and we were tagging our minister here in charge of our drug policy, because he loves to do walking, and he loves tweeting about walking, because walking's so healthy. So now we're doing a walking campaign and tagging him all the time. But Hunter K is a big supporter out there as well. And Hunter K said, "Good on you, girl. Keep it up." A lot of pro people out there.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so someone else just commented there as well and said the strength that you're showing has no bounds, and it's truly inspiring as well. And I think that's the most powerful thing about it. It is inspiring. Like, I hope people watch this tonight and they are inspired, to kind of just speak up, and to find their own strength as well. And Zaggles, you're making Lisa cry. I'll get emotional now as well, Lisa. I'm easily ticked off. So yeah, I've known to shed a tear a few times on the show as well. It can be emotional at times. Yeah.
It's just nice knowing that I've got support out there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it helps. It makes it easier, and it gives you strength to continue doing what you do.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So guys, make sure people out there watching this get over there and give you a follow on the different platforms, because you definitely deserve it.
Thank you.
No bother at all. Stay strong, Lisa. This is another person saying as well. This is coming from the guys at High and Homegrown.
Thank you. Made in Sheffield.
Yeah, that's maybe another platform there for you to go to join the lads, and maybe talk more about the plant growing aspect, as they run the Percy's Grow Room forum. So maybe they might like to have you on and have a chat just about the growing aspects of it, and it could be a bit more cheerful there, hopefully. And we won't have to cry.
It has been cheerful. It has. It's just the fact that I don't know. It's just such a long process.
Yeah, no, we,
It,
we, we had to touch off of bring up some, revisit some sore memories there tonight. So
yeah,
it's not easy. Uh, but yeah, anyone else coming in there? Yeah, keep on keeping on, Lisa, says John Finnegan. Yeah, lots of love coming in there from him as well. Lovely stuff. So, and I'm sure there's going to be lots more positive comments coming as well as the show gets picked up after people watch later on.
yeah.
So I'll definitely get to have you back on when we meet up there in person. I'll definitely be
No
going over to the UK and
problem.
hopefully maybe you've heard of Gary Hughes as well over there in Liverpool, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm thinking
Yeah.
he's opening up a cafe there. So maybe we might have a catch up for a cup of tea there and
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be really good. That. Yeah,
we'll
definitely.
get the ferry
Yes.
over and pick you up and we'll have an old carpool.
That'd be good. That. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. So, Lisa, come here, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll leave you get back to enjoying your evening.
Have a great evening yourself, and thanks ever so much. I can't thank you enough.
No problem. Best of luck with
Much
everything.
love to everyone. Much love to everyone.
Thanks, Lisa.
All right. Bye bye.